AMD shares more details about FSR3 at GDC 2023. At GDC last week, AMD shared some more official details about FSR3, the next generation of its upscaling technology. FSR3 is still in early development, but AMD has some lofty goals for the new version, including a 2x frame rate improvement over FSR2. Stefan Holtz, a core technology group engineer, started his presentation at GDC 2023 by talking about Fidelity FX super resolution technologies, with a particular emphasis on temporal upscaling. Starting with FSR1 and moving to FSR2, he shared not just the initial development of these technologies but also talked about how FSR 2.1 and FSR 2.2 solved some issues presented by the first two implementations of the upscaling tech. As AMD explains, FSR 2 computes more pixels than we have samples in the current frame. However, it's possible to render even more pixels using interpolated frames. That's where FSR 3 comes in, allowing the upcoming version of the Red Team's upscaling technique to double the frame rate in some cases. Still, some challenges have to be conquered to achieve this. First, FSR 3 can't rely on color clamping to adjust the color of old samples. Additionally, nonlinear motion interpolation is complex with 2D screen space motion vectors, so AMD recommends an input of at least 60 FPS. Lastly, if the final frames are interpolated, the UI and any post-processing must also be. There's a good chance that every interpolated pixel will have at least one sample. Moreover, there's no feedback loop because the interpolated frame will only be presented once, any interpolation artifacts will only be seen for one frame. Another point touched on during the presentation was latency. Moving from FSR to FSR2, frame rate gains were increased while latency decreased. Applying frame interpolation boosts frame rate as well as latency. As a result, FSR3 will depend on latency reduction techniques. Furthermore, FSR3 will combine resolution upscaling with frame interpolation to make it easier to implement FSR3 on FSR2 titles. In addition, to better facilitate integration, FSR3 is intended to be open source like other Fidelity FX technologies.